Looking at this SD card, I realized there are a bewildering amount of badges on it. And what do those badges mean? So this is the SanDisk Extreme Pro. And first up, it says 300 megabytes per second, and that's the maximum write speed. And to me, it's really not very important because, okay, maybe it can hit 300 megabytes per second, but for how long? That's not guaranteed. So who cares if you can do 300 megabytes per second for 1 second? We're more interested in the minimum write speed of a card, which we'll get to in a second. So next you'll see a little padlock, little down-facing arrow, and that means there's a physical switch on the side of it that allows you to lock the card so that you don't accidentally erase anything after you're done shooting. So that's really important. The big 128 gigabytes, that's the capacity, so 128 gigabytes at full. Then we have SDXC, and that is the format. You have SD card, which goes up to 2 gigabytes maximum, and then SDHC, high capacity, that's larger than 2 gigabytes and a maximum of 32 gigabytes. Then XDXC, like this card, which is larger than 32 gigabytes and a maximum of 2 terabytes. And then there's SDUC, ultra capacity, which is 2 terabytes to 100, larger than 2 terabytes, up to 128 terabytes. And none of those have yet to hit the market. Next, the most important one is this V90, and that's the video speed class. And that means that it has to be able to sustain, at minimum, 90 megabytes per second. And that's what you should be looking at, especially if you're looking to record 8K 30 or 4K 120 in your camera. And then everything under that is pretty unimportant because V90 in this card specifically is the fastest minimum write speed. And as I said, that's the most important factor. And all the other badges are write speeds below 90 megabytes per second. So for example, the U3 means that it can write at least a minimum of 30 megabytes per second, which is a lot lower than V90. And then the C10, the class, that means it can write at least a minimum of 10 megabytes per second. And that is way, way slower than the V90 spec. And then last, that little 2 is the bus interface. And that means if engineered to do so, this card could, the bus could at least write at a maximum speed of 312 megabytes per second.